If you're shopping used tractors in 2026, some of the biggest bargains on the lot are bargains for a reason. And a few of them are outright traps that'll drain your wallet dry. I'm talking about tractors from Branson, Cub Cadet, McCormick, Steiger, AGCO, Versatile, John Deere, New Holland, and LS. Machines that sold strong when they were new, and today move for a fraction of what they cost. Not because the steel wore out, but because the brand disappeared, the parts dried up, or the emissions system scared everybody off. But here's what makes this list worth your time. They are not all bad buys. A couple of these are some of the smartest money you can spend in 2026 if you know one specific thing before you sign. And there's one tractor here that a lot of people are genuinely scared of. That's actually a rock-solid buy. I'll tell you which one and why, but you'll have to stick around because it's further down the list. There's also one machine. You'll see it at number 3, where the cheap price isn't an opportunity at all. It's a warning. It's the market quietly telling you to run. Keep that number in your head, because when we get there, I'll show you exactly how to spot the difference between a bargain and a bomb. So here are 10 tractors that lost their value in 2026, why the demand dried up, and which ones are secret bargains versus money pits. If you're in the market right now, subscribe before we start. This channel is where I break down the buys that'll bankrupt you and the ones that'll save you a fortune every single week. Let's get into it. Number 1. Branson 3515H. Branson built a genuinely good compact tractor. Solid, simple, well-priced, the kind of no-nonsense machine a small farm actually needs. So, why has resale gone soft? Because the brand is gone. Branson's Korean parent Cougar was bought by TYM back in 2016, and by January 2023 the two fully merged, the Branson name was retired, and everything folded into TYM. Now put yourself in a used buyer's shoes. You're looking at a tractor wearing a badge that isn't sold anymore, and the questions start. Where do I get parts? Which dealer touches it? What's it worth when I go to sell? That uncertainty alone knocks the price down hard. A 3515H that was a strong seller 5 years ago now sits on the listing while buyers scroll right past the unfamiliar name, and the ones that do sell go for well under what a comparable Kubota or Deere of the same size and hours would bring. But here's the twist, and it matters. TYM still supports these machines, and parts largely flow through the TYM dealer network. So a Branson 3515H can be a smart, cheap buy if you've got a TYM dealer within reasonable driving distance. Most buyers never check that. They see a dead badge and lowball on reflex. Their fear is your discount. And this is the first example of a machine that's cheap for a reason that might not actually apply to you. Hold that idea, because it comes back at the very end of this list on a completely different brand, and it flips the whole thing on its head. Number 2. Cub Cadet Yanmar Compacts. These were Yanmar-built machines sold under the Cub Cadet name in the mid to late 2000s. Strong little tractors with a real Japanese diesel underneath. The same Yanmar engineering that powered a whole generation of small John Deeres. The problem: Cub Cadet is out of the compact tractor business. The joint venture with Yanmar dissolved back in 2011. The Cub Cadet name got dropped from the compacts, and the line reverted to straight Yanmar. So now you've got a tractor with a badge a company walked away from over a decade ago, and the pain point is parts. The Yanmar engine components you can still track down, but the Cub Cadet specific pieces, the sheet metal, the trim, the model specific hardware, those get harder to find every single year. And it compounds. The longer the badge is dead, the fewer of these are left on the road, and the harder it gets to find a donor machine or a mechanic who even remembers them. When a buyer hears some parts are getting scarce, the offer drops. Good engine, orphaned brand, sliding price, that's the whole story. McCormick MTX. This is the one I told you to keep in your head, the one where cheap doesn't mean bargain. It means run, because this is a completely different flavor of problem. It's not that the brand vanished, it's the repair bills. The MTX earned a reputation for expensive transmission and electronic repairs, and that reputation followed it straight into the used market. On a high-hour machine, buyers start doing the math. The tractor is cheap to buy, but one transmission or electronics failure can cost more than the entire tractor is worth. That's the killer for resale, and it's why this one stands apart from everything else on the list. When the potential repair bill dwarfs the purchase price, every buyer prices in that risk and offers less to protect themselves. And the cheaper these get, the louder the signal that the market is bracing for a big failure, which pushes the price down further, which scares off more buyers. A self-reinforcing slide. So here's the straight talk, and here's how you tell a bargain from a bomb on this whole list. On most of these tractors, cheap is an opportunity. The problem is a dead badge or a faraway dealer, something that might not even affect you. On the McCormick MTX, cheap is a symptom. The problem is inside the machine, the driveline and the electronics, and it follows the tractor home no matter where you live. The bargain price isn't a gift. It's the market pricing in the odds that you'll be writing a 5-figure repair check on a tractor you paid 4 figures for. A running one is a lot of machine for the money, but you are gambling on that driveline, and the price is telling you the market already knows the odds. That's 3 down, and it's the most important one. So let it sink in. Quick favor while it does, hit that like button if this is helping, and drop a comment. Which tractor brand do you trust to still be around in 20 years? That question is the whole game here, and I read every single reply. Number 4, Steiger Cougar Series. Now we swing to the other end of the yard. The big, articulated 4-wheel drive machines, serious iron with a serious, loyal following. But the older Cougars carry a specific problem. Many original components aren't produced anymore. Steiger changed hands and got folded into Case 1H decades ago, and the older Cougar-specific parts went out of production a long time back. So keeping one alive today often means salvage yards, used parts, and custom fabrication. You're not calling a dealer, you're calling around. For a certain buyer, the guy who can weld, fabricate, and hunt down used parts for fun, that's not a deal breaker, it's a project. But for the average buyer, you'll have to fabricate parts to keep it running, is a hard no. And here's the split that defines these. A restorer will pay for a clean one, but a working farmer won't gamble on a machine he can't get parts for. Take the collectors out of the equation, and the everyday resale value is a shadow of what these cost new. They've got a floor because they're collectible to the right person, but broad demand? Thin as it gets. Number 5, a AGCO RT series. The RT was a capable utility tractor. The problem was never how it worked, it's how few of them exist. AGCO discontinued the series, and it never sold in big numbers to begin with. Low production means a razor-thin aftermarket. Fewer machines out there means fewer salvage parts, fewer specialists who know the quirks, and fewer buyers who even recognize the model when it pops up for sale. And that hurts resale in a quiet, brutal way. A rare tractor isn't valuable, it's just hard to sell. When a buyer can't easily find parts, can't find another owner to ask, and can't be sure a dealer will service it, they get nervous, and nervous buyers pay less or walk away entirely. There's no active owner community propping up values, no steady parts pipeline, no marketing behind the name anymore. So when an RT hits the market, it moves cheap or it doesn't move at all. The RT series didn't fail, it just faded, and faded machines don't hold their money. Number 6, Versatile 835. Another big articulated workhorse and another parts support story, the same trap that's closing in on those old Steigers. Versatile's older models, the 835 included, are now old enough that OEM parts can be genuinely hard to find. Restoration and repair increasingly lean on used components or custom fabricated pieces. And it's the same effect on price. These were built to work hard for decades, and mechanically many still can. But a machine you can't easily source parts for is a machine most buyers won't finance or bet on. The demand narrows to restorers and diehards, and that smaller pool sets a lower price. Worse, the trend only runs one direction. As the years pass and parts get scarcer, the buyer pool keeps shrinking and the price keeps sliding right along with it. What was once a serious working tractor slowly becomes a project tractor, and project tractors sell for project money. Number 7, the early Tier 4, John Deere 615 OR, and this is the one that surprises people the most. Remember at the top I said there's a machine on this list people are scared of. That's actually a solid buy. This section and the next are where that pays off. Because this is a John Deere, the brand with the best dealer network and the strongest resale in the entire business. So how does it land on a worthless list? Emissions. The 615 OR arrived in the early Tier 4 era, carrying the first generation of DEF and SCR emissions systems. And a lot of buyers today deliberately hunt for the older Tier 3 machines instead, specifically to dodge the added complexity and the repair costs early emissions hardware can bring, so you get a genuinely strange situation on the lot. 2 Deeres side by side, and the older, simpler one holds its value better than the newer, more capable one, purely because buyers don't want to inherit that first-gen emissions system. On a big hour 615 OR, the fear of a costly DEF or SCR repair gets baked right into the offer. The green paint still helps. Deere support is Deere support, but the emissions era it was born into works against it. Here's the part worth sitting with. That fear is often overblown for a well-maintained machine, which means a clean, documented early Tier 4 Deere, bought cheap because everyone else flinched, can be one of the smartest buys on this whole list. File that away, because the very next tractor is the exact same story in a different color. Number 8. New Holland T7. Same theme, different paint, and it's the twin of the Deere we just covered. The T7 is a well-regarded utility tractor, but the early SCR-equipped models carry the exact same cloud as that early Tier 4 green machine. Buyers perceive higher maintenance and higher emissions-related repair costs on those first SCR systems, and that perception alone is enough to cool demand. When shoppers have a choice, plenty of them steer toward simpler machines and let the early SCR T7s sit, and tractors that sit get discounted to move. You'll see them listed for noticeably less than their reputation as a working tractor would suggest, and they linger on the market longer than they should. That gap between how good the tractor is and how little buyers will pay is the emissions penalty in plain numbers. And this is exactly the machine I was teasing at the start. Because here's the nuance. The fear crowd misses. A well-maintained early SCR tractor can run for years without drama. The used market price is on fear, not averages, so if you find a clean one with good service records and you're not scared of the emissions system, you're buying a lot of tractor that somebody else was too nervous to touch. The thing everyone's afraid of is the thing that makes it cheap. Sometimes that's a trap, the McCormick at number 3, and sometimes it's a gift. On a documented early SCR T7, it leans gift. Number 9, John Deere 7810. Now this one's almost the opposite problem. A warning wrapped in a favorite. The 7810 is one of the most loved utility tractors Deere ever built, a classic from just before the heavy emissions era. Exactly the kind of simple, tough machine buyers are hunting for. Normally that's a recipe for rock-solid resale, and clean ones genuinely do hold their value. But there's a catch that's growing every year: the electronics. Some of the OEM electronic modules on the 7810 are getting harder to source new, which pushes owners toward used or rebuilt modules to keep them alive. For now, that's a manageable annoyance, not a death sentence. The 7810's reputation keeps demand strong, but it's a flashing warning sign for anyone buying one. A tractor is only as supportable as its hardest to find part, and on the 7810, the electronic modules are the piece to watch. As those get scarcer, they put a ceiling on the price, even for a machine people genuinely love. Buy a clean one, and it'll serve you for years. Just go in, knowing the electronics are the part that decides its future, and price accordingly. Number 10. LS-XR4155. And this brings us all the way back to that idea from number 1. LS builds a solid tractor. In fact, LS builds machines for other big-name badges too. The problem with the XR4155 isn't the iron at all. It's the map. In big parts of the US, the LS dealer network is thin, and dealer density drives resale confidence more than almost anything else on a spec sheet. When a buyer realizes the nearest dealer for parts and warranty work is a long haul away, they hesitate, and they lowball to make up for the hassle. Stack that against a Deere or a Kubota with a dealer in every county, and you can see exactly why the LS sells for less used, even when it's mechanically the equal of anything in its class. And here's the payoff to that thread from the very first tractor. The thin network that tanks the resale for most people is exactly what turns it into a bargain for the right buyer. If you happen to live near an LS dealer, you can buy one of these for well under a comparable Deere or Kubota and get every bit of the same work out of it. It's not the tractor, it's the support map around it. Same lesson as the Branson at number 1. The machine everyone's scared of is only scary if the reason applies to you. So step back and look at the pattern across all 10. Only one of these is genuinely a bad bet no matter who you are, and you already know it's number 3. Most of the rest run just fine. What crushed their value wasn't the iron. It was everything around the iron. A dead badge, a thin dealer network, discontinued parts, or an emissions system buyers are scared of. Confidence, not condition. And that's the whole lesson if you're shopping used in 2026. Don't just ask if it runs, ask who supports it, where you'll get parts, and what it'll be worth when you sell. Because that's what the market is really pricing, and a cheap tractor you can't keep running isn't cheap. It's the most expensive mistake on the lot. But flip it around, and this list is a treasure map. A Branson with a TYM dealer nearby. A clean early Tier 4 Deere, or early SCR T7 that everyone else was too scared to touch. An LS parked 10 minutes from a dealer. Buy the thing people fear for a reason that doesn't apply to you, and you save a fortune. Just steer clear of the one where cheap means run. Number 3, the McCormick MTX. If this saved you from a bad buy, or helped you spot a good one, subscribe, and watch the video on your screen next. I'll see you there.